NCIS Season 24 is most probably in fall of this year. And based on everything the cast and showrunner have said in the last 48 hours, it is going to look different from anything we have seen since Gary Cole first walked into the Navy Yard in Season 19. Different cast, different power structure, different energy from the very first episode. And I honestly cannot decide whether that excites me or terrifies me. Maybe both at the same time. Let's talk about everything we know about Season 24 right now. What Wilmer Valderrama confirmed about Torres, who is and is not coming back. What the showrunner said about LaRoche and the director's chair. Why there are hints that one of the show's longest-serving cast members may be heading for the door. And what all of this means for a show that is already 23 seasons deep and still pulling millions of viewers every Tuesday night. First, Torres. Because this is the question every NCIS fan is sitting with right now, and Wilmer Valderrama just went on the record about it. At a screening for Suarez at the 2026 Los Angeles Latino International Film Festival, Valderrama was asked about the Season 23 finale cliffhanger. Torres in that alley, Mateo with a gun, and a single gunshot before the screen went black. And he said something that I honestly think is the most carefully crafted non-answer any actor has ever delivered. He said, "I can only hope that he makes it out alive. I only hope." Not I know, not do not worry. I hope. And I want to be very precise about what that tells us. Because Valderrama has been on this show since Season 13. He knows what he can and cannot say. And choosing the word hope in that context, when he could have just said he is fine without technically confirming anything, is not accidental. He is telling us something. He is telling us that whatever happened in that alley is not simple, and that whatever comes next for Torres is genuinely not certain to be what we expect. But here is what the showrunner confirmed separately. Stephen D. Binder already confirmed that no one is dying in the NCIS Season 23 finale shooting. Nobody died, so Torres is alive. Mateo is alive. But alive and unchanged are very different things. And the question of what the shooting cost both of them, physically, professionally, personally, is the question Season 24 Episode 1 needs to answer in its first few minutes. Valderrama told TV Insider that his character will be drawing outside the lines next season, and that they are building towards something pretty big with Torres. Drawing outside the lines. For a character who already spent a season holding a gun on a man he wanted to shoot and choosing not to. Drawing outside the lines is a phrase that carries real weight. I honestly think Season 24 is going to give Torres the story that Season 23 was quietly building toward. Not the procedural Torres, not the supportive partner Torres. The Torres who has been deciding all season what kind of man he wants to be, and is now going to have to live with whichever version he chose in that alley. Now, the bigger picture. Because what Valderrama teased about Season 24 goes well beyond one character's storyline. Speaking with people, Valderrama confirmed there will be some major changes and some major additions to the series when it returns next cycle. Major changes. Major additions. That is two separate things happening simultaneously. The cast is losing something and gaining something. And based on everything the show has been building across Season 23. The director vacancy, the Mateo situation, LaRoche circling the power vacuum, the changes are going to start at the top and ripple all the way down. LaRoche, played by Seamus Dever, has been positioning himself for the director's chair since Vance died, and the showrunner had something very specific to say about him. Binder told TV Insider, We've sort of played this game with him a little more than we'd initially intended. I think we're going to play out his story probably once and for all in regards to his designs, and then we'll see where that lands us. Once and for all. That phrase does not suggest a character who gets what he wants. That suggests a character who either succeeds spectacularly or fails definitively. And based on how the show has been portraying LaRoche all season, as a man who cares more about political positioning than about the agency itself, I honestly think the once and for all resolution is not going to land in his favor. Which brings us back to the director's chair. Still empty. Still the most important unanswered question heading into season 24. The death of Vance left a big void in the agency, as now there's a power vacuum that LaRoche is trying to take advantage of. And the show is going to have to fill that vacuum with someone in season 24. The question is whether it fills it with a character we already know, McGee, Parker, Kayla, Vance, or with one of the major additions Valderrama teased, because an entirely new director character is one of the ways you simultaneously add a major addition and shake up the power structure from the top down. And Kayla, because Vance's daughter appearing in the season 23 finale was not a throwaway cameo. The finale saw the return of Kayla, Vance's eldest daughter, a woman who has her father's intelligence, her father's institutional knowledge, and a personal motivation to see whoever was behind his death face real consequences. And the showrunner has hinted that Vance could return as a presence in people's ears, a Jiminy Cricket figure, which means Kayla carrying her father's voice and values into whatever comes next is entirely possible. I honestly think Kayla Vance is going to be more important in season 24 than most fans are currently expecting. Now, the one thing hiding in a related Screen Rant article that every long-term NCIS fan needs to know about. NCIS set up the exit of a 400-episode veteran, and you might have missed it. 400-episode veteran. There is only one character in the current NCIS cast who has been on the show for 400-plus episodes and is not Sean Murray. That is Jimmy Palmer. Brian Dietzen has been part of this show since season 1, and the suggestion that the show has been quietly planting the seeds of his exit is something I honestly was not prepared to read. Because Palmer has been the emotional center of this team in a way that goes well beyond his screen time. Every moment this season where someone needed comfort or honesty or the kind of gentle decency that holds a team together, Palmer was there. Losing him would be one of the most significant emotional shifts season 24 could make, and the fans know it. The conversation online right now is genuinely divided. Some people, a lot of people, feel that NCIS has not been the same since Gibbs left, that the show lost something irreplaceable when Mark Harmon walked out the door. And while Gary Cole has done something genuinely remarkable with Parker, and the showrunner confirmed that the cast and the ratings both proved this, there is a vocal contingent of fans who feel the show needs to reconnect with the energy that made the original team so magnetic. They want Ellie Bishop back. They want Tony and Ziva guest appearances. They want the specific kind of darkness and humor and genuine danger that the earlier seasons carried so effortlessly. And I think that is exactly what Valderrama is describing when he talks about major changes and major additions. Not just a new character or two. A deliberate effort to reconnect this show with the energy that built it, while also pushing forward into territory that a 24th season of any show has to go to stay alive. Because the tension in NCIS right now is not between the old fans and the new fans. It is between a show that knows its own history and a show that knows it cannot live there forever. It's safe to say that NCIS Season 24 could be the tail end of the show's evolution after Mark Harmon's exit as Leroy Jethro Gibbs. After establishing a new normal with Alden Parker's leadership and now potentially introducing a fresh director, the procedural can start looking forward instead of just setting things up. If done right, it would help the show secure another 10 years on CBS, another 10 years. Season 34 of NCIS. I honestly cannot tell if that sounds impossible or inevitable. But I know this. Every time someone has counted this show out, it has done something that made the people counting look wrong. And a season that starts with Torres in an alley, LaRoche reaching for power, Palmer possibly heading for the door, a director's chair that still needs filling, Mateo Garcia connected to something that puts the whole agency at risk, and Valderrama teasing major additions that nobody has named yet. That is not a show running out of story. That is a show that has been loading for a very long time and is about to fire. NCIS Season 24 premieres this fall on CBS, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. And if everything Valderrama just confirmed turns out to be the preview it sounds like, I honestly think the fall cannot come soon enough. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Torres makes it out of that alley fully intact? And who do you think the major addition to Season 24 is going to be? Because after everything Valderrama said at that screening, I think the answer to that second question is going to be one of the most talked about NCIS moments in years.